Давайте сюда, блядь. Второй. Всего я не люблю, нахуй пошел отсюда.
Right, this audio could be very windy and the phone might fall over, but in today's video, gents, I'm going to be letting you in on my secrets on how I managed to grow my arms at a ridiculous pace, to the point where I had stretch marks like this just after 3 months of bulking. Now, if you're trying to take building muscle seriously, especially your arms, you cannot just go to the gym, do a NAF session. No! Stay there! You cannot just go to the gym, do a NAF session, then go on about the rest of your day like it didn't even happen. Building muscle starts here, in the kitchen, where most of you lads are actually slacking. If you're not meeting your protein goals or your calorie goals, you're not going to make any progress at all. But above that, even before you go to the gym, you need enough carbs in your muscles to have a good session and get a good pump. Now, a pump, it's not important for growing muscle, but it makes it more fun, more enjoyable, and help you be more consistent. So ideally, for the gym, you want to get some kind of carbs in. You don't have to, but it's going to make a world's difference, and you'll notice it when you start doing it. Personally, I like to have just a spoonful of honey, but you can do anything, some kind of oats, pasta, anything that you know is carbs. Now in this video, I was experimenting with colours. You know, in my last gym video, I used an old camera just to try to get a retro vibe. Didn't really work because the gym was too dark. But I'm using my phone now, and I'm experimenting with different colours, trying to make the video a bit more cool than just being simple, plain video colours. So if you keep noticing that colours are chopping and changing, I'm just playing around with it, see what looks the best. And yeah, so let's get straight to the gym, boy. This is not the gym. I'm in the wrong place. Hold your horses, sunshine. We'll get there in a minute. I just want to teach you guys some little stuff about your arms, so that if you don't like the exercises I'm showing you in this video, at least you can... Hello? There we go. At least you can adapt it to yourself and come up with your own exercises that you like. Because the exercises I'm showing you are very scientifically accurate and efficient, but you might not like them. You might not like how they feel, and you might not experience much growth. And don't just do them for a week and go, oh, my biceps haven't grown, I'm not doing this. Give it a couple months, right? Try them 2, 3, 4 months. If they're not growing at all, do a different exercise, okay? They will grow because, you know, they work, but just matters about what you like, because at the end of the day, if you don't like the exercises you're doing, if you don't like the training style and regimen that you're following, you're not going to go to the gym. And if you're not going to the gym, you're not making any progress at all. So it's better you doing some doggy ass exercise but go to the gym consistently than to do some scientific exercise once a week. So for you to understand the kind of training you want to be doing to grow your arms, you need to understand the muscles that you're actually training. When I train arms, I only train my biceps and triceps, because I think if you start adding in shoulders and forearms, whatever muscle gets trained in the end, let's say if it's forearms, they're not going to be trained as well as anything else that's trained at the beginning. Because when you're training that many muscle groups in one session, you just start getting tired, like bored of it. You just want to go home, you need food. So whatever muscle gets trained last gets trained nowhere near as effectively as anything else, which means it's going to start falling behind everything else, which you really don't want. So I just like to keep it simple. 2 exercises per session. 2 muscle groups per session. Like we'll do biceps and triceps one day, the next day chest and back, the next day shoulders and forearms. 2 muscle groups per day. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Not too much overloading of your body. You're not going to need to rest too much. Works quite nicely. So in your biceps and triceps, you need to understand the heads of each muscle. The name tricep directly translates to 3 heads. Bicep directly translates to 2 heads. Now biceps is a bit confusing because there's actually 3 heads, but there's 2 main heads, hence the name bicep. So we've got a little demonstration, a little diagram to pull up over here. It's a bit B-Tech because I'm on freaking paint and it is, 10 to 1 in the morning. But we've got a lovely picture of Lee Priest over here, doing a nice V-bar push down, showing off his beautiful triceps. I've realised now it's probably not the best picture to show you because you can't really see them in full detail, but you can see each one of the heads of the tricep, which makes it well enough. So over here, we've got the lateral head of the tricep. This is the nice funky bit, you know, it makes it a bit detailed, gives it a bit of volume, a bit of 3D-ness. This is what stands out the most when you're talking about people's triceps. But in my opinion, this head over here is the most important. It's called the long head. It's the meatiest part of the tricep and makes your arms look significantly bigger when you're doing a front double bicep, because it's the meat that hangs down at the bottom, so it makes your bicep peak taller from the bottom. And then below that we have the medial head. You can't really see this one as much, it's significantly smaller than the rest, but because of the fact that it's underneath each one of the heads, it's underneath the long head and it's underneath the lateral head, it pushes these two heads forward, making them appear a lot more full and a lot bigger, which again makes you look bigger, which is very, very nice. So to adapt this to your own training, you'll see mine in a minute, and when I'm doing the training I'll explain to you what head this hits, blah blah blah. But when you're making your own training, you need to take into consideration each one of these heads. You want to be doing 3 exercises ideally, because there's 3 heads to the tricep. I stand by that rule with arguably every muscle, that you want to do 1 exercise per head. But with the triceps and the triceps only, that rule kind of excludes, purely because of the fact, let's go back on it, that the medial head and the long head work in the same plane of movement. They get trained together, basically. So you don't need to train them separately. You're just going to be overloading it for no reason, doing too much volume, waste of time, really. It's about 15 minutes that you're not going to get back and you're not really going to get anything from, so there's no point in doing it. So for your long head and for your medial head, it's any kind of forward extending position. That's how you isolate it. It's nice and simple. Any kind of regular tricep extension, overhead extension, or a rope extension, or just a regular one, I don't know, you're going to see them in a minute, because I'm starting out with them, I think. Yeah, nice and simple. Any kind of simple extension at the elbow. Now for the lateral head, it's any kind of cross extension. Any kind of extension crossing across your body. You can do some katana extensions, or single arm cross body extensions, or a vertical straight bar push down. I don't really know the name, but any kind of extension that's going across your body, putting the elbow in a flared position. That's where that's going to get used. Nice and simple, nice and easy. You can play around with it, try some different rope attachments, some different bar attachments, just different cable attachments. See what feels nice, but ideally 2 exercises, one of which is a simple extension and a crossbody extension. I'll show you mine of choice, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so moving on to the biceps, we've got a anatomy picture here, which I might get told off for using, but we'll just cross that out. As I said, it's confusing because there's very clearly 1, 2, 3 heads over here, and it's called the bicep, which does mean 2, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So as I said, with every muscle, I like to do 1 exercise per head of the muscle. Now, up until quite literally me recording this video, I've only ever done 2 exercises. I've always neglected this part of my bicep, which isn't good, and I'll show you why right now. My biceps look absolutely terrible from the back. You can see I've got a nice tall peak, but in terms of here, there's nothing. It doesn't look like I have biceps from the back, which is bad, and that's because I've neglected this muscle. This part of the muscle is called the brachialis. The brachialis is located underneath the other 2 heads, but it does poke out at the side a little bit, which makes your arm look a bit thicker, but specifically makes your bicep look better from the back. This is trained in... Let's try that again. This is trained in any position where the hand is pronated, I think the word is, or is that... Where it's like this, where the hands are like that. So any kind of hammer curl is going to train the brachialis. As I said, I've been neglecting this, so in this video I'm not demonstrating any kind of hammer curl, but I'm going to start doing that now, so you will see it in later videos. So if you're doing a seated hammer curl, a cable hammer curl, a dumbbell hammer curl, any kind of hammer curl, which just means your hand is like that, you're just curling with your hand like that, is going to target this part of the bicep. Now, these are the other two. These are the most important two, realistically. These are, if you don't train these parts, you're not going to get big biceps, quite frankly. So we've got where's my cursor gone? We've got the short head, which everyone always calls the long head, and I don't know why. It's the short head of the bicep. And then we've got the long head. The long head of the bicep. As we can very clearly see, the short head stops here and the long head stops there. That's why that's long and that's short. When it comes to the short head, we're going to be training in a contracted position. I don't really know why it's that word, because you're contracted anyway, but all that means is you're training with your bicep in front of your body. So if it does get trained in hammer curls, so it's getting stimulated there if you only want to do a hammer curl for your brachialis and your short head, but I don't want to. So anything that's in front of your body, if you're doing a preacher curl or a maybe like an isolated curl where it's in front of you, or anything where your biceps are in front of your body, that's the kind of thing we're going for here. So if your gym's got some kind of equipment where you're seated and then there's a curl in front of you and you just curl like that is going to target your short head, which is going to give you the thickness from the front. It's going to give you that nice width to your bicep. Yeah, and then the long head, which is this one in the middle, if I go back on, it's just that one there, is going to give you a big peak. The peak on my bicep is probably the most impressive, but because I've got like a 90-degree thing on here, my biceps they're not going to look great, but you can see there how it goes tall like that. That's because my long heads are something I've prioritized for years. Training your long head is in the extended position rather than contracted. It's extended. You're going external to your body, so any kind of incline curl is going to target this head, which you will see later because I've got a video proof of it. But as for that, that's pretty much it. I don't really want to drag it on too much, and I feel like I already have, but take what you will with that, to be honest. Adapt your own training, add things to your training, remove things, add certain exercises if you want, if what I'm showing you doesn't really work great. But try what I'm saying, okay? Try the exercises that I'm going to give to you in this video, because they honestly work great. Now, before we do get into anything, I just want to say I don't really know how I feel about the music choice and the colours. I know I've already mentioned the colours before, but I don't really know how I feel about it, because it just seems a bit out of place. But I'm trying to keep it mildly entertaining while still being educational, so I thought it would just make sense to put music in. So just bear with it, alright? These are songs that are in my gym playlist, so I thought it kind of makes sense. But I just tried to see what I'd match it and whatever, but let's just get straight into it. Okay, so we're starting out with an exercise that's pretty well rounded. It trains your lateral head as well as your long head as well as your medial head. But because of the angle that it's on, it's nice that it does get your lateral head, because at least it is getting some stimulation in your training. It's the only tricep exercise that I did for that year where I got those stretch marks and whatnot, so it does work really well, to be honest. It's worth a try. You want to load up quite a bit of weight on it. You can go quite heavy due to the angle of it. If you've got a longer bar, try and touch the bar with your elbows. You really want to flare your elbows out and bring the bar up to your chest rather than your belly like you normally would in a regular straight bar push down. But because you're loading a lot of weight, because of the angle that it's on, you might feel a bit of pain in your wrists or your elbows, and if that is the case, then just try this variation with a rope. You're fist bumping in the middle, fist bumping yourself, and just extending outwards. It's like a regular cable push down, but it's outwards, so you're going to get a lot of lateral head targeting. So let's get straight into the real set with 80 kgs on the bar.
Look
Right, this angle's absolutely terrible, but it's fine. We're doing some tricep rope extensions. With this, you want to step back from the machine, lean over, and I know the angle's terrible, you can't even see what I'm doing, but you want your elbows to be placed in front of you, like up against your belly, and quite literally, just extend your arm. Like, imagine your arm, your elbow, is a door hinge. Just open and close the door. Squeeze at the bottom, really let it stretch at the top, and now the aura begins, and with that aura comes the set. Okay, we're doing incline curls. Straight over to the biceps now. This is a very diddy angle. I didn't realise I was recording it, but it's whatever. I didn't say in the last one, but that last exercise was for the long head and the medial head of the tricep. This is for the long head of the bicep. These are incline curls, like I've just said. In everything that we're doing in this video, we're doing 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, somewhere in that range. With these, what we're doing is we're opening our chest and putting our arms right out to the side. Instead of curling to your nipples like you normally would with any kind of bicep curl, we're curling to our shoulders. The most important part of this is the bottom of the rep. You want to get right down to where your arm is fully extended. And don't just jump out of that difficult position. Watch me now. Go through it. Go through the... I'll be honest, I have just jumped through it, I can't lie. But you want to hold and go through that difficult position where you're very weak at the bottom. It's going to strengthen your tendons, but it's challenging your biceps in the stretched position. That's where you'll experience the most growth, the most progress. And then once you're done, you can do some little dilly-dally drop sets if you want to drop the weight, or if you want to do a different little exercise and whatever. But we'll get into the real set now. It's a very slow and controlled exercise. It doesn't feel nice, it burns, but that's kind of the whole point.
Come on! Get it! 17! You don't know me, son! Get it! 18! You don't know me, son! Get it! 19! You don't know me, son! Yeah! 20! You got the more! 21! Yeah! Get it again! Come on, we want to see it! Good! 22! We still carry the boat in the walls! That's you, buddy! Come on, 23! I wish the water was cold! I wish them motherfucking instructors keep on fucking running. I wish the fucking rain. When the Indian is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you know who the fuck you are. Come on. Get it. 17. You don't know me, son. Get it. 18. You don't know me, son. Get it. 19. You don't know me, son. Yeah. 20. You got the more. 21. Yeah. Get it again. Come on. We want to see it. Good! 22! We still carry the boat in the walls! That's you, buddy! Come on, 23! I wish the water was cold!
Okay, over to preacher curls. This is for the short head of the bicep, like I said earlier. While we're doing this, if I didn't emphasize it enough in the incline curls, when you're doing biceps, it's really about getting a stretch. Going into the deepest, most stretched part of the bicep. Now watch, as I drop my shoulders back, I'm stretching the bicep out and emphasizing that weak part at the bottom of the rep. I don't care how much weight you want to do, you don't want your reps to look like this. Short ass little reps. No, emphasize the bottom of the rep. When you're doing it properly and getting a right squeeze with the right weight, it should look a little something like this.
If ever words were spoken.